Hey, you're learning a lot about the Martin family, aren't you?
Yeah, I love it. Fantastic.
All right, so what other questions you got?
How did advertising change from the early years?
How did it change? Well, in the early years, there was only press, obviously. How did it... I don't think it did change a lot, you know. There was so much off.
Apart from the live ads?
Yeah, so much off, you know. You need a normal price, 500, you know, now 450 or something like that. But they're still doing the same thing today.
When did they switch from the live TV ads to pre-recorded?
God, I can tell you now, it's so wonderful. Oh, we didn't do them for that long. It might have been a couple of years.
Right.
But it was all parrot fashion, you know. But you got used to it, and I wasn't scared, you know. I was so scared, and Alan was too.
Of course, at the start.
You know, and you're standing there in the middle there, and all of Perth watching you.
Would have been very intimidating. Very intimidating. We've had some special reflections and some memories. Got some nice ones. Is there anything else that you like to add that you can think of? You can always let me know.
Well, I told you we retained Dad as managing director because there's a very posh club of businessmen, which, you know, Peter Lawrence and those sort of guys. I mean, they're, you know, the one that's just died. They were all, you know, 50 to 100 million personal assets, and I was invited to join, but only if I was a managing director. So I would have loved to have joined. I'm not sure I could have handled it anyhow, to be honest. I was, you know, in between times I'm building flats and shops. I had 2 blocks of flats in Scarborough. I was the youngest bloke.
This is the 80s, right?
Yeah, I was 26 when I built my first block of flats in Scarborough with Len Buckridge.
Right.
I used to sit next to Len Buckridge. I don't know if you know the name rings a bell, but he was the most successful builder. He took on the unions and won.
Right.
Oh, listening to that sound, Julie must have been doing a lot of shopping.
Just with the selling to the unions with Alan, that was in the Fremantle stores, wasn't it? You can reflect on a little bit of those years.
Alan was a very big drinker, right? So, you know, nothing, that was what he was. I wasn't, but he used to drink with all the wharfies, and he'd go over on Friday, well, he was there every night at the pub. Frances, you know, I put up with it too, she did a good job. But on Friday night, Alan would be there, and he'd buy a few beers for the boys, you know. And then it got to be that Alan would put on a 5-gallon keg every Friday night. And, of course, I loved Alan, you know. And then Alan took on the hotel there, of course. That's Alan's famous story about the bloke. They had 3 entrance doors to the pub, and Alan was a hotelier. So the first door, the drunk there, and the Alan said, "Get out," and picked him up and pushed him out, you know, closed the door. So then he went down to the next door, the drunk did, and banged on the door, and then he said, "Hey," he said, is this the same pub?" Alan said, "Yeah, now get lost," you know. So he's, you know, so then he went to the next door, because this pub had 3 doors. And he said, "How many pubs do you own here?" Oh, that was Alan's favourite story. "How many pubs do you own?" So he said, "I'm coming in." So Alan, of course, was a boxer. Alan went down south and won he was a mosquito weight, would you believe?
Gosh.
There's nothing of him. And so Alan hit him, punched him, and he went down like a packet of salts and didn't get up. Alan thought he'd killed him. But, you know, Alan could handle himself well and truly, yeah.
With a few.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want to... You wouldn't have wanted to take him on. He was very good with his fists. So was our dad. He used to be not a professional boxer, but that's what they used to do. Every Friday night they'd have the fights. And Dad would go, he'd be there, one of the fighters. All the Martin brothers did.
Gosh.
I can't say the same for the sons.
That just didn't happen, did it?
No. Well, that was the entertainment.
Yeah, isn't it? 'Cause
you know,
there's nothing else, no TVs.
That's right. So what else have you got there?
So, going public.
Yeah, going public was a no-brainer when you think back. I'm not totally proud of what I'm about to say to you because we're not going anywhere. I'm struggling to. I'm very friendly with the bank manager next door, and I arranged $1 million overdraft, which sort of crept out to $2 million, and then it crept out again to about $2.5 million. He never came in once. He was an Italian guy, and he was a very lovely man, and he was a major part of our early success.
Right.
Is he let me run and run and run. The Melbourne Cup sweeps we used to run in conjunction with him and us. He was the R&I bank next door. Oh. He was the first bloke I met at Dad's funeral, actually. I remember it well. So we just didn't have enough. You know, we were being held up by not being... But how can I explain it? So we brought out a new way of spending as well. We take options on stock. You know, and they'd say, well, these are the... What do you think about... this is the new range of the national television, which was the plum one. And there'd be four there, in their different sizes. We knew which ones sell the best, obviously, because that's what we do all day. And we'd say, well, how many you've got to know these guys? You know, the sellers very well, the national guys. I said, you know, well, Bob Stanley did a lot of this, which he needs to be mentioned, by the way. Bob Stanley was our general manager. He used to do a lot of this, but I did it with him. And we'd say, Bob, we want the 20-inch one. And we worked out which was the best buy, value for money. So how many of those do you want to sell for the year? They'd say, this one here is 300 or 400. So I said, righto, we'll take them all. You know, and they said, what do you mean you take them all? You normally just take one or two of them and put them on display, and then when you sell them, you get them from us, you know. Said, no, we'll give you an irrevocable order.
Right.
Which was, a big gamble. So they said, oh shit. So they said, well, don't worry about that one anymore. You sold them all. They're all gone. I said, yeah. So they said, yeah. They didn't know what to do either. So, of course, his smarty pants stands up there and says, we won't be beaten on the price of this 20-inch national. Well, you know, how can you do that? Because the other guys can't get any.
They don't have one.
They can't get it. So people say, I'm not going all the way into Perth. I live in Armidale or something. I'll get one from the Armidale branch of the guys. You know, Retrovision or something. See, the bigger you got, the stronger you got. So we did that over and over again. And they hated it because people thought that we wouldn't be beaten on price on anything. And that wasn't true because we used to... You know, we'd buy, and we used to import a lot of refrigerators ourselves. There wasn't enough fridges, you couldn't get them. Kelvinator and things, that you're joking. It's 9 months to a year waiting list. So we imported them from Spain and from Italy. And I think we got some from Yes, we did get some from Yugoslavia.
Was this through the NADA group? Or
No, that was just us. No, just us. Have you ever seen my little bar fridge out the back here? Brown coloured bar fridge?
Was that one of them?
Yes. That came from Yugoslavia.
Still working?
Yeah, came from Yugoslavia.
Gosh.
Yeah, it still goes.
Yes.
So, the bottom line is we outsmarted them. But we were in a position to do so.
Great. Keep going.
We not only could buy everything else cheaper than anybody else, but we were able to manufacture these things. All sorts of refrigerators and funny looking things. And anyhow, lots of stories. We bought, couldn't get the shipping line to handle them. So we finished up having them as deck cargo, and they all got dented. All the fridges were dented.
Right.
So we got a guy to opposite our bulk store, which was